Hi, everybody. Have my Kleenex. You might want to get yours. The last few years, I've stood before you introducing our speaker, excited and privileged to be a part of this important and vital advocacy work, attempting to bring an end to this horrible disease. Never in my wildest dreams, or in my nightmares, did I imagine I would be standing here today as your speaker, about to share my very own story. Nor could I have imagined telling my story and appearing in a photo spread for Prevention magazine. So much has happened in the past year, including the entire world has now seen my right boob. The thought that it might be breast cancer never crossed my mind when I felt an excruciating pain in my right breast last November. I thought the sudden, sharp, and burning pain may have been a ruptured muscle. I had just finished a hot yoga class, and for those of you who practice, you know those classes can be extremely intense. Though the pain eventually went away, my husband strongly encouraged me to get a mammogram, even though it had only been 8 months since my last one. You see, and the healthcare providers in the room will relate to this, we do learn that if it hurts, it's a good sign. So I truly wasn't worried. But when I got the text the next day at work from him that simply said, "Get your boob checked," I did call, really more for him than anything else because I knew it was nothing. My 3D mammogram came back perfect, absolutely perfect. My primary care physician encouraged me to do an ultrasound as well, which revealed a 1.7 centimeter tumor near the surface of the skin. There's going to be a gross picture coming up. The minute I saw it, I knew it was bad. The tumor was dark and ugly, with arms and legs and a very long tail. It looked foreign and evil, exactly the way you would think cancer would look. The biopsy came back confirming cancer and showed it to be triple-negative breast cancer. For those of you unfamiliar with breast cancer, it's the one that you don't want. To say I was shocked would be an understatement. This was not part of my plan, and I am a planner. I was about to embark on a brand new journey. As some of you know, I'm a nurse, and I served as the president at St. Clair Hospital for the last 10 years of my 26 years with CHI Franciscan Health. I had just accepted a promotion and transfer to CHI Health and was about to move to Omaha, Nebraska. But instead, life ended up taking me off course on this crazy cancer journey. I am no stranger to breast cancer. I lost both my mom and my grandmother to this terrible disease. My entire adult life, I've been involved in advocacy work. I served on the board of Komen, hi David, board of directors here at Komen Puget Sound for the last 6 years, and previously served as board president for the last 2. From racing to walking, and my 3-day team is here, and I just finished my 9th 3-day 60-mile walk a week ago. I've been doing anything and everything in my power to help end this disease. I have fought for thousands upon thousands of cancer patients and cancer survivors, but I truly never imagined that this fight would include me. As I faced my own diagnosis, I was determined to do everything possible to beat this and put cancer behind me. For those of you who know me, I don't usually do things halfway. As a longtime member of the healthcare field, I knew what I needed in a care team. I would like to now recognize my amazing CHI Franciscan Health care team and the other providers who are here with us today. I was going to call each and every one of you by name and then run out and give you a hug, but I was told that that would take way too long. So I'm going to ask that all of you who were members of my care team, please stand and let me say how incredible and amazing each of you are. You each had a hand in saving my life, and I love you. Triple-negative breast cancer accounts for only 10 to 15% of all breast cancers. I was surprised to learn that the recommended course of treatment that I would take included the same chemotherapy my mom took 25 years ago. I opted for a bilateral mastectomy despite being a candidate for lumpectomy. It was a decision that I made at 27 years old when my mom died. I watched her struggle with one breast and the constant scans and fear of recurrence, which indeed occurred 15 years after her first mastectomy. For those of you not familiar with triple-negative breast cancer, and I can tell you that I was not, it is one of the most aggressive forms of breast cancer because it grows extremely fast. Triple-negative breast cancer is difficult to treat because of what it lacks. Most breast cancers have receptors like estrogen, progesterone, HER2, that can be treated through targeted therapy. Triple-negative breast cancer has no receptors, so we have no targeted therapy, which makes it more difficult to treat. That is why Komen decided to invest much of this year's $33 million research portfolio into finding better ways to treat these more aggressive forms of breast cancer, including triple-negative. While great progress has been made in treating many other forms of breast cancer, current treatments for triple-negative breast cancer target all the cells in the body, including the healthy ones, resulting in inadequate tumor response and often severe side effects. The tumor in my breast was so close to the skin that in order to get clean margins, we had to dissect very close to the skin. As a result, the lower half of my right breast became extremely discolored on a scan in the operating room and was not receiving adequate circulation or oxygen. My care team bravely asked me a day after my surgery if I would be willing to be discharged from the hospital and go right into a hyperbaric chamber at St. Joseph Medical Center in order to save my right breast. So after my nipple-sparing double mastectomy with reconstruction, I immediately began hyperbaric treatment. Got to do all sorts of new things. This treatment meant I was in a pressurized chamber for 7 hours in 2 3.5-hour sessions every day, 5 days a week, for 5 weeks. I was diving 2 atmospheres, for you divers out there, or 74 feet below sea level. And thanks to this intensive treatment, the circulation in my breast returned and the skin returned to healthy. We also learned on final pathology that I had had 4 tumors in my right breast, 3 that never showed on any of my scans, including an MRI, my ultrasound, or the mammogram. So as you can imagine, it made us very happy later that we had opted for the more extensive surgery. Following hyperbaric therapy, I began 22 weeks of chemotherapy at St. Francis Hospital Infusion Center. Despite taking really powerful chemo, I felt incredible, all but a very few days. I credit my hot yoga, my naturopath, who you just got to hear from, and weekly acupuncture. After chemotherapy, I underwent 5 weeks of daily radiation, which just ended on August 26th of this year. The only step left now is for me to come back here for my final reconstructive surgery in April of next year. Thinking back, if someone had said to me, "Okay, Kath, here's the deal. Right before you're about to take this new and very cool job in a part of the country that you've never been to, you're going to be diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer. You're going to have both your breasts cut off. You're going to hang out in a hyperbaric chamber daily for 5 weeks. You're going to undergo 22 weeks of chemotherapy and then 5 weeks of daily radiation." I would have said, and some of what I would have said I can't say here, but in addition to those words, I would have said, A, that's ridiculous, and B, I will not be strong enough to handle something like that. I will crumble. I certainly would not have said the following. A, I'm going to totally rock being bald. I loved being bald, just so you know. B, I'm going to fall madly in love with my chemotherapy nurse. C, I'm going to do hot yoga nearly every single day during this entire journey to keep my energy up and get those toxins out. And D, I'm going to create a whole new network of amazing women that I support and that support me, because through supporting others, I would learn to support myself. And finally, and now this has become my favorite saying of all, you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice that you have. In many ways, this has been an amazing journey. Truthfully, for me, there was no other option. For people who know me, this will not come as a surprise. Despite all the pain and fear, I was determined to stay positive. I was filled with and surrounded by so much positive energy. What was surprising to me was that I was not the only one who got cancer. You see, my family, my friends, my entire care team, everyone went through this with me, and I felt tremendous responsibility that we all experienced a journey filled with hope, laughter, and positivity. You see, it's much easier to be the person with cancer than to be the people who love the person with cancer. Family and friends embraced me, supported me, and loved me, and I must call out the love of my life, my husband, Mike, our 3 children, and our daughter, Laura, is here today with us, and our boys who live out of state, their spouses, and our 3 2/3 grandchildren. Go Huskers. And my 3-day team, I love you, my yoga studio, and my very special Komen friends. Yes, this journey had many ups and downs and detours along the way, but I was steadfast in my belief that I must stay focused, remain optimistic, and be grateful for all of the blessings I received throughout this ride. I do believe, as cancer survivors, we need to channel our positive energy and create a new vision moving forward. Yes, cancer is hard. Yes, cancer sucks, but together we can do this. As a longtime advocate, I truly never imagined I would be diagnosed with breast cancer. I've been asked, doesn't it bug you that you got cancer and all that Komen work you've been doing? About 15 years ago, I was tested for BRCA1 and 2 based on my family history, and both came back negative. And then after my breast cancer diagnosis, I was tested for another 16 cancer-causing genes, all of which came back negative. After the testing results came back, I said to my husband, don't you think it's weird I'm not genetically positive for any cancer-causing genes, and yet I got cancer? And he looked at me and he said, and I truly will never forget this as long as I live, it's not weird at all. You're 1 in 8. Wow, I am 1 in 8. It still takes my breath away when I say that. Look around your table. That's at least 1 or more of you at every table in here. For those of you not familiar with the statistic, 1 in 8 U.S. women will develop invasive breast cancer over the course of her lifetime. This year alone, about 250,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer are expected to be diagnosed in women in the U.S., along with 61,000 new cases of non-invasive breast cancer. That's staggering. Despite all of our advocacy work, the fundraising, and the research, this disease and that hideous statistic continues. Not a week goes by that I am asked to reach out to a new person diagnosed, and so often it is a young woman in her 30s. Yes, we've made amazing strides over the past several decades, and we are having a real impact on breast cancer. The Komen Foundation has funded and advanced breast cancer research to the tune of nearly $2 billion. Komen has transformed how the world treats and talks about this disease and has helped turn millions of breast cancer patients into breast cancer survivors. But the fight is far from over. People are still dying from this terrible disease, nearly 41,000 this year in the U.S. So table captains, will you get your packets ready? I am asking everyone, I'll let you get your packets out. So there are pens and there should be a little packet for everybody. I am asking everyone in this room to reaffirm their commitment to do everything in their power to end breast cancer. I am not trying to freak you out, but any one of you could be 1 in 8. Personally, We must find targeted therapies to improve treatment options for triple negative and other aggressive forms of breast cancer. This research and local breast health services mean money. It is only through donations, which is why each of you are here today, that we will achieve these goals and create a world without breast cancer. I do not want my daughter-in-laws, my sweet baby granddaughter, or anyone's daughter or granddaughter to battle this disease. So I'm really pleading for each of you in this room to make a donation. And whatever number that you're thinking about, double it. I am confident that if we continue this global campaign together, we may ultimately achieve our mission to end breast cancer forever. Thank you.